with that being said, we get to our first caller. His name is Tom, and he's in L.A. What's going on, Tom? Tom in L.A. Haven't talked to you in a while. How's it going?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good, good. What's going on, Tom? What do you got for us?
Not too much. I mean, it's never fun to see an actual loss, but I've been pleasantly surprised by this team so far this year. I think what I'm definitely going to be looking for now is can we see Tatum and Brown consistently do this for the entire season, right? Because I think what we have on our team right now, I think for the last 3 to 4 years, we've had all these picks, we've had all these assets, and to be honest, even with the winning streak, I'm not crazy excited about where I think we should be and what our future currently looks like, I'd say. But the fact that Tatum and Brown are showing out now, I think they're the two players on our team that are ceiling raisers. I think I like Kemba, but I still think Kemba is what I would consider to be a floor raiser, meaning when Kemba Walker is on your team, I think it's tough to be bad, but I don't think he necessarily raises the ceiling to championship level. And so, what I'm really curious to see is can the two young guys sustain it, and can they actually take it from a star to a superstar level? Because, I think this is our team now, for better or worse, for a bit. Most of the draft picks have already come in. I think there's a good chance Memphis holds on to that pick in this year, and unfortunately, I think there's a decent chance Memphis might be not pretty good, but not horrendously bad during the season where they have to owe us that pick. And so I don't know. It's an exciting season. I'm happy after last year to be watching a team that is just more harmonious basketball. But still,
I like that. That's a great way to put it. I like that.
That is a good way to put it.
But still, I don't know. I still feel like even with Hayward back, I just still feel like the pieces we're missing are pieces that we had. And so, I don't know. And I know I need to get past that. I know I need to get past it because
wait a minute.
We have an exciting team.
Let's drill down on that a little bit. So,
you want to go first,
what
Nick?
you're saying is Danny didn't improve the team, but the pieces that Danny had put together got better? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think he what's the best way to put this? It's not that I don't think he improved the team. Well, I don't think we improved the team. I think I'll say that. I think it's a better – how do you say you don't think someone improved the team? Well, he didn't improve the team talent-wise, but he still managed to put a better team on the floor, if that makes sense. I think Hayward coming back healthy, even though he got hurt, looks a lot better. But what I think has changed is that this is very much one of those teams that I just don't see. I don't think this team wins a title, and I think this team might actually kind of I don't think we're at our ceiling because I think Tatum and Brown can still get better, but I don't know if the ceiling of this current team is going to ever be able to beat out what other teams are going to put together onto the floor. So I think, it's nice to see a better team, but this would be a better team if Kyrie Irving wasn't insane and Horford was on the team and Hayward came back healthy. That could be a championship team.
Because I think that you're parsing words, but that's because I think that you're making a point that's good, but to me, it's this. The team could be exactly the same as last year, but last year wasn't a team. Last year was a combination of egos, led by the biggest ego in the NBA, and or one of them, maybe not the biggest. But what we're seeing this year is players who are allowed to be themselves. So it's a damn shame that last year had probably the most talented combination of players maybe in the league, and they couldn't get it together. Because I think you're not seeing much more other than the black cloud is lifted and no one is playing with fear or tension and anxiety. Certainly Hayward has improved beyond the fact that the dark cloud is gone, but now Hayward is on the bench again, and they're still performing really well as a team. And Jalen, I mean, I've never – Josue, tell you, we spent many a night at Boston Garden beating up on Jalen. I did at least, but
yeah, you did. Speak for yourself.
Into this year, I've never been a Jalen guy, but he has come into this season with an amazing improvement over last year, and it's the first time I could honestly – I mean, he's always come in slightly improved. I mean, he added a jump shot 2 years ago, but I didn't see him this summer on his Instagram carrying boulders up a mountain, and thank God for that, because instead he was just got his ass in the gym and learned how to dribble. You know what I mean?
Tom, you talked about
to playmaking. It's a vast improvement over the previous seasons.
Yeah, you talked about what's encouraging for this team. I think it's Jaylen Brown is a big part of that. You look at what he's been able to do. He's now, I know it's a small sample size, 8 games at this point, because he did miss a couple because of injury. But he's a 20-point scorer, and I think one of the most encouraging things you have to look at is his three-point percentage. Now, right now, he's shooting 34%, but we've seen him shoot at 39%. I think that's something to keep a close eye on. If he can be more consistent, a bit more consistent from behind the arc, I think that's going to make this team a hell of a lot better and just continue that momentum. Having someone that's going to force opposition to opposing teams to really buckle down defensively, and it's going to cause trouble for opposing teams, when he's able to spread the floor and he's knocking down the three-point at a consistent rate. Of course, Jason Tatum looks like he's making that leap. And, of course, before Gordon Hayward went down, I mean, you talk about someone who's the most important player on this team, that's Gordon Hayward. If Gordon Hayward can continue to be what we saw throughout the first month of the season, that's a very good offensive combination between the three of those guys. And I think that's essentially going to be the difference for this team and them trying to make it to the NBA Finals.
For sure. I mean, personally, what I would love to see them be able to do, and I don't know who this actual player is right now, I guess is the problem. I think Hayward's definitely going to come back and be good. I think just Jaylen Brown, he's improved drastically. I think it's tempered by the fact that but now he's no longer going to be $6 to $7 million a year. He's now a $28 million a year player, whatever that is, right? So even though he's improved, what he's done is he's improved up to his contract. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we need Jaylen Brown to be that, because if he's not exactly this, then that contract is bad. And so, I think what we miss is some of what I miss is some of the outlandish upside that we had in the past few years when we had this young talent on the rookie contract. Kemba, I think is he's good. It's just, look, once again, I'm happy that we are a good team. I'm happy that we're better than we were last year. But if this makes sense, and I know this is a tough thing to say, while we are a better team than we were last year, we have a worse chance to win the NBA championship. I think you make sense, man.
Dude, I think you make sense, because last year there was way more talent on that team. Right. If anything last year proved, it's two things. First is chemistry is everything. Leadership is everything. All the years I've been covering this game, I have never seen a more talented, wasted talented team. They just wasted away and fell apart. We would walk in the locker room after a win and everybody be glued to their cell phones instead of celebrating. You'd swear somebody died. The second thing is all these dorks with their Excel spreadsheets can all go the hell home, because on paper that team should have won the championship, and they barely sniffed the second round, because you can't put chemistry, cohesion, and leadership in an Excel spreadsheet with data that the nerds go with. So those are the two big takeaways. For me, I agree with what you're saying on paper. You're right. And I think all season long everybody was saying last year they're going to get it together. They're going to get it together. Wait till playoff time. They'll flip the switch. What switch? They never had a switch to flip. So this team, with chemistry and Brad Stevens being respected and being utilized as the genius he is, and these players playing freely, I think the Celtics are much closer to that Eastern Conference Game 7 Finals team they were 3 years ago than they ever were at any point last season. It was a disaster.
Yeah, but I think you got to look at the commitment they've made to Jaylen Brown as a sign of, look, this is the 2-year run that they're going to see what they have, see what's going to happen with these rookies, with these young guys, someone like Robert Williams, what's he going to look like a year from now, and I think that's the right path, the Anthony Davis thing is out the window. There isn't that ideal superstar guy that you can put together assets with and go get right now. Maybe something pops up next year. Maybe things get a bit more interesting depending on what they do with Gordon Hayward's contract when that finishes or when that's off the books or whenever it's, whether they restructure it or lock him in for another year. It's going to be interesting to see what happens between now and, the next couple of seasons. But I think you have that foundation with those 4 guys, and I think that's a solid place to be in the Eastern Conference,
You throw Al Horford and Donnie Wahlberg, I hate to say this, but he said it perfect. The Celtics are Al Horford away from a championship. He really did. And if you threw Al Horford in that equation with this young core and Kemba, and Horford said he would have stayed, I think, didn't he, if he knew Kemba was coming? I think we're talking about a whole different tweak.
Didn't they have to get rid of Horford to get Kemba? They couldn't have both.
Yeah, either Horford or Smart. I think it was one of those two. So but let's not kid. Al would have stayed had Danny been crazy enough to offer that money. Thank God Danny Ainge knows how to say no.
No,
that's
I
true.
think it's.
Celtics fans are bitching because of Hayward's $30 million. Imagine if we were paying the Celtics were paying a 35-year-old. Big man, 30 minutes. He'd be average out all season. Lou Merloney'd have everything. He would have content for years if he signed that contract. If they offered him that contract.
That's true.
To be honest,
hey, Tom, appreciate you.
To be honest
I appreciate you coming in, man.
Quickly. To be honest with you, I actually think we're slightly lucky that Hayward. I don't want to say lucky. We're lucky Hayward didn't just have 82 games of exactly what he's been doing. Because the understated fact for him is that this free agency period is totally barren. There's no one, and I think he has an opt-out at the end of this year. And
he does.
If he has a season like he's having, I would be shocked if he doesn't opt out because he's basically, other than Draymond Green, and I'd rather have Hayward going forward than Draymond. Basically the only premier free agent who's even eligible to be an unrestricted free agent in 20. I guess Davis is too, but I don't imagine he's going anywhere if their season keeps going like this. So I actually wouldn't be shocked if he opts out, kind of forcing the Celtics to make a decision. Do we go 4 more years to this guy or let him walk? Which is hopefully that's a decision we don't have to make because I'd really like to see him for 2 years before having to make that choice.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, Tom.
We
appreciate you calling in. We have a couple more callers on here, man. So we got to get to the next one. Sorry about that, Tom. Thanks for checking in. Let's keep it moving here. We have Ted in Easton wants to join us. What's going on, Ted?
Hey, what's going on down here in Houston? So here's the way I kind of view our team here. The next 3 games is going to show a lot. I think last year, we would have spiraled out of control and lose, 6 in a row and point fingers. And I think this is where our leadership from Kemba needs to step up. And then also I think getting Hayward back eventually, I really think that to have we just didn't have one guy that was on fire. Getting, Kemba, Tatum, Brown, and if you have Hayward, the odds of one of the 4 not going off, that's why I think, man, that we're going to be fine. It's a disappointing game, but I just think the character and if we were to start this whole thing and you were to tell me, hey, after opening night, we're still the best record in the East, I'd have taken it. So I guess I'm trying to look at the positive today.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot of positive things to take away from this game. You saw the ball movement, which I can't get enough of that. I love how everyone's sharing the ball, and whoever gets that open shot doesn't have any doubt in the world that shot's not going to go in. You see that confidence, and it starts from someone like Kemba Walker all the way down to someone like Daniel Tice throughout that starting 5. 26 assists. They shot 41% from the floor. 34 made field goals. So you saw that ball movement, and they just came up short. They looked like they were going to pull away with it.
Would you put it in Tatum's hands and have him just take it to the hole? Because Tatum, man, can get – he's got that.
Well, Tatum did that. Tatum did have that up and under, but he came up short,
You what?
Yeah. He did make a key push to the rim with about a minute left, and he just came up short. He tried to do an up and under, and the Kings capitalized on him. But, yeah, that's just something that this team's going to have to figure out with late game execution and how to, come out victorious. After the way they've been playing in the second half. Coming down to the wire the way they did today against the Kings.
This is a surprising game. It just makes you. I mean, you're so excited about this team, and you just got to shake it. Tomorrow night, Denver, I think, is coming off a back-to-back. They're about to play tonight. Go into Denver, get that game, and you know what, man? I think Celtic fans can just kind of breathe a minute, and just get to Hayward, and I think when you got all 4+ marked, I mean, I want to see what this team. We can be unbeatable as long as one of those 4 can catch fire, and Marcus still plays defense like he does. He's probably the best defense player since Garnett.
Well, that defense made all the difference today, Ted. Unfortunately, but not in the Celtics' favor. Ted, I thank you for checking in. We're going to keep it moving here.
Buddy.
We got Gabe. You too, Ted. We got Gabe in New York who's been waiting patiently. He joined the show right now. What's going on, Gabe? Thanks for calling in.
Sure, thank you, guys. A good game today. A little bit short, as you guys said. I felt like it was a winnable game. A couple of turnovers in first half. A couple of missed shots. But I don't know. It felt like, if you're like the best team on the NBA right now, every team is going to try to come and get you. And looks like Sacramento came with a lot of energy in the first quarter, won the first quarter, and felt like we were trying to play catch-up the whole game. Just didn't feel like the Celtics have the same kind of energy, kind of sloppy plays here and there. Couple of plays where there wasn't the extra pass there that we used to see them in the past couple of games. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think when it comes to energy, go ahead, Nick.
No, go ahead, Josue. All right, I'm going to get a real quick comment on it, and then I'll throw it to you, Josue. My opinion is, and you're going to see more of it as the season goes on, the scouting report is out, guys. So opposing teams know that when the Celtics come into town, they are going to face a formidable opponent. They are the first stretch of the season. You can't really gauge, what an overall record is going to be, right? The schedule has been first times on everybody. Well, the Celtics are tonight. You're right. Maybe they weren't as sharp as they had been. The energy maybe wasn't quite as good as it had been. But the Kings are a good team, and they were prepared. So as the season wears on and the Celtics start seeing teams for the second time, and in some cases the third and fourth time, and it's going to get harder and harder, and people are going to start taking them more and more seriously. And with that, they'll be more and more prepared. So that's when we're really going to see, where the meter is on this team in reality when you're talking about, their abilities to go deep into the playoffs or come out with a 50-plus win record. Go ahead, Josue.
Right, definitely. No, I was going to say something similar to that, but also going to add, we're going to find out a lot more about this second unit. Now that Robert Williams is back, we know Gordon Hayward's not going to be coming back anytime soon. I liked what I saw from someone like Brad Wanamaker today, really neutralizing the floor, being that secondary playmaker that the Celtics need him to be. That is an encouraging sign for this team. Kemba Walker's going to have to get his rest, not to start a whole conversation about, time management and all that stuff and resting his guys. But I think you want to have 3 or 4 guys that Brad Stevens can rely on. And I think Brad Wanamaker can be one of those guys. Shemi Ojale put together a really good game today as well. He finished with 11 points in 20 minutes. He came out of the gate, gave you that energy in the first half. And if you remember, the Celtics needed that right before halftime. They pulled close with the Kings. Like you said, the whole game was close throughout. It seemed like it was back and forth. And, of course, the Celtics did pull ahead, but then so did the Kings. I just think when it comes to the second unit, if they can see that consistency to help the starters, that's going to put them in really good shape to win these games. Look, this came down to the wire. There's a game that could have easily been a win for the Celtics, but I think there's a lot of good things to take away from this game and a lot of things that we're going to find out about this team throughout this 5-game road trip. Hey, if they go 3-2 in this one, let's say maybe they drop one against the Clippers, maybe they drop one against the Suns tomorrow night, that's still a pretty good trip, relatively speaking, for a team that's going into their very first 5-game West Coast road trip, And I love that this is happening now. happening in November. This team's going to find out a lot about themselves and a lot about their identity.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, well said. Yep.
Hey, Gabe, I appreciate you calling in, all right?
West early this year, too. I mean,
Yeah, I'm still here. Thank you.
All right, Gabe.
Thanks,
You have a good one, man. Thank you for checking in. All right, let's keep it moving here. Yeah. Thank you to everyone calling in. Still plenty of time here. If you want to join us, the Celtics Post Game Show, 347-215-7771. Again, the phone number is 347-215-7771. And we'll go to what we got next here, Nick. Let's see. August in New York. August joins the show, Celtics Post Game Show, CLNS Media. What's going on, August? What you got for me?
Hey, how you guys doing? How's everything going for you guys?
We're good. We're good.
August?
No complaints besides a heartbreaking loss to the Celtics. That's all we have.
Exactly. No, and I just wanted to touch on everything you guys said. I agree with. Real quick, I just think that's the best part about this season
yeah, man,
right
you better,
now for
August.
me.
You better agree with us, man.
I know. Yeah, if I don't agree, you better hang up the line, right?
I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, we're got you, right?
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, that's good. I think that the best part for me has been, when Kyrie, went away last year and then Gordon coming back and everything, there were a lot of question marks with Horford leaving. A lot of people were saying before the season, where's the scoring going to come from? It's just been really nice to see consistent, 18 to 20 plus games from more than one guy on the team. When you look at the Celtics, their identity to me is the team that was similar to a team back in 2008, 2009 and on, to where it was, you had great players, but the Celtics' pride is back, in my opinion. You watch these guys out there, they're playing hard, they're playing passion-spirited basketball, and it's starting to fit into that mentality of what we as fans, I would like to say, really you're caring about more than anything. I posted not too long ago on Twitter, I said it's not just about the wins and the championships. That, to me, comes when you have the basketball skills with the spirited basketball that they seem to be playing right now.
August, I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to cut you off, August, because I got to tell you, man, you're seeing it all when you say it. The biggest win of this season, I have two things. Why is it always two? I do have two things, though. The biggest win of this season thus far has been the fact that, he went to Brooklyn and the Celtics culture and the Celtics pride and what you just said. What fans, I guess, over the age of maybe, I don't even know at this point, in maybe their late 20s, would kind of feel. And that was my biggest fear last year. Josue, I must have said it to you a million times. This jackass is going to destroy everything Danny, Wick, and Doc, and Paul Pierce allowed a trade to happen to fix this team and ensure that they would be, competitive for the next decade. And I thought they were Celtics fans, they were Kyrie fans. We're making fun of him, Paul Pierce, last year. So, you're right. This team is unified. It is so glaringly obvious what the issue was last year. You don't even have to contemplate it as we did all last season. My second thing is I was talking with Brad in August, no pun intended, it was August, and he made that exact same comment to me. And I said to him, I think I told you this. I said to him, I have never heard any member of the organization say that. Like, basically what he said was, listen, man, he said, Nick, I don't care about banners. I don't care about anything other than giving the fans, and I think he said it since, I've heard him say it, but giving the fans what we basically what he said, we ripped them off of last year. And if that happens, then I'm pretty confident this team will be competitive. And I never heard any member of the Celtics say anything remotely close to that. So you're right, man. I think you're right. And you could see it all over Brad's face, man. Everybody from Brett, from the, whoever the star of this team is, whoever you consider the star to be, right down to the last guy on the bench and the coaches, it's a different I'm a body language guy, and it's a different body language right from the jump, and they're fun to watch. And better yet, like, the Shock Jock radio guys, they can't just say, the green teamers just want to have fun. They don't care about – listen, man, it's fun to watch, and the proof is in the pudding because they're winning. And they're winning with – and when they lose, like tonight, they're losing with dignity. I don't see finger pointing, They're not arguing on the bench. There's not outright arguments right on national television. Your star player's not yelling at his coach and just not running plays. I mean, I'm never satisfied, but it is satisfying to see, that the culture and what makes this team special, the franchise itself, is still intact after last year. That says a lot because that was a disaster.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're seeing a big difference. That's true. That's a really good point, Nick. You look at the rest of this bench too. I thought it was interesting how Brad Stevens is just awards the players who's been working their hardest. I feel like Semi Ojeleye earned himself 20 minutes, not because what he's able to do on the court, but also because you're seeing that level of effort. You're seeing that on the floor. I mentioned what Daniel Tyson's been doing. You saw him get minutes. We didn't see Grant Williams tonight, which I thought was interesting because it looks like Brad decided to go with these other guys, and I don't hate that decision. I love to see more Semi Ojeleye, that 3-and-D. I think he can be that guy, but I just think we're still trying to find out if he can be that guy consistently. Look, 3 for 4 from behind the arc, a handful of stops, really good plays, heads-up plays, got the fast break going, turned those defensive stops into easy buckets on the other end of the floor. I love that from Semi, and hopefully Semi can continue to do that for this team because it's going to make a huge difference for this team, especially when they're looking for consistent production from that second unit. I'm really keeping a close eye on the second unit right now, guys, and I think it's going to be really important going into a game like against the Phoenix Suns, where those guys they've been playing very well recently, or at least they've been putting forth the kind of effort that no one really expected from the team like the Phoenix Suns, and they're gonna get themselves the best that they have, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to do this on the second night of a back-to-back set.
No, I agree with you, man. Back-to-backs, see how they do it on the second night of this team should respond fine on the second night of a back-to-back.